Good evening. Welcome to The Last Word. We are looking at the situation overall between India and Pakistan. Pakistan did not close its airspace yesterday and allowed civilian aircraft to operate while it sneakily launched Turkish-made drones at Indian cities. That's what the government said in a briefing this evening. Pakistan used the unsuspecting civilian aircraft flying in its airspace effectively as shields. This as at least 300 to 400 Pakistani drones flew towards civilian buildings, military installations and religious structures across northern India. This was at about this time last night when it all started. We can only hope that there are no further attacks which took place, because if it does escalate, then India will respond and respond very hard.
With an intent to target military infrastructure, Pakistan military also resorted to firing of heavy caliber weapons along the line of control. Along the international border and line of control, drone intrusions were attempted from Leh to Sar Creek at 36 locations with approximately 300 to 400 drones. Indian Armed Forces brought down a number of these drones using kinetic and non-kinetic means. The possible purpose of these large-scale aerial intrusions were to test the AD systems and gather intelligence. Forensic examination of the drone debris is being undertaken. Preliminary reports suggest them to be of Aziz Guard Songa drone of Turkey.
I think you're all aware of the situation along the entire India-Pakistan border and the areas around the line of control. In view of the existing security scenario, the services of the Kartarpur Sahib corridor have been suspended till further directions. We'll update you as and when there is a change in the situation.
Well, there's some breaking news coming in right now. The Prime Minister is holding a meeting with the National Security Advisor and the three service chiefs, also the Defence Minister present. This is happening in Delhi at this stage on a day in which, again, it's been fairly tense. At this juncture, we are waiting to see what happens. Is it going to be a quiet night, or is there going to be anything further similar to what happened yesterday? We do not want an escalation. India has offered Pakistan an off-ramp. It's really up to them to take it, because if they don't, then India has the right to escalate, and we have the ability to hit them much harder. Joining us now, Lieutenant General D.S. Huda, the former Northern Army Commander. Thanks very much for being with us. One of the key points that came up earlier today in the briefing was that Pakistan was weaponizing civilian air flights. When they were launching drone strikes on India yesterday, they had civilian aircraft operating on their airspace, and they allowed this to take place. How callous and irresponsible is that?
So Vishnu, sorry if the video is not clear. We have a blackout here in Chandigarh, so I just have a small light on. I think it's very irresponsible. Whether it was done deliberately or not, frankly, is immaterial. But in a zone where conflict is going on, in an area where they have launched so many drones, to permit civilian aircraft to fly is, putting civilian lives at risk without a thought to what could happen. And we've seen in the past, in conflict zones, civilian aircraft coming down. So I would say it's completely irresponsible.
All right, we do expect some sort of clarification on the overall scene along the boundary right now, because there are some reports which seem to be coming in of tracer bullets, gunfire, air defense. This could be precautionary. It doesn't necessarily mean anything at this stage until we have information to suggest otherwise. But General Huda, how is it abundantly clear that India will retaliate very hard as Pakistan progressively carries out drone attacks, should they choose to do so?
Absolutely, Vishnu. My own sense, and I think, in the government briefing, it was also brought out that the purpose of these attacks that have taken place, starting from Leh right down to Kutch, is to test out our air defense systems, to probe for weaknesses, to probe for vulnerabilities. And obviously, such an operation would only be carried out if something further is not contemplated. So I would sort of, caution against thinking that this is it. They've done something, they'll do something. similar in the future, you could well see a more significant strike planned by Pakistan as we go forward. And I think we need to be prepared for that.
General Huda, interesting that you are in a blackout right now in Chandigarh. It's great that you can join us. When did this happen? How many minutes back?
No, so 8 p.m. onwards, every day there is a blackout. I think it's a good thing that we are also sensitizing the local communities that they need to be careful. It's not merely about military to military conflict, but also the fact that particularly in areas close to the border that you need to be careful.
Just in the last few moments, there's an advisory which has come in from senior defense officials who are advising journalists to avoid to exercise restraint, and that details are being collated at this stage on whether or not there is some sort of drone activity or other activity along the border. I can report to our viewers that there is information coming in. It's not been confirmed, and I think it's important that we keep that in mind, because there was a great deal of disinformation which flowed yesterday. We don't want to get into that situation at the moment. The other point which came up at the press conference was that there were about 400 drones, less than them, all the way from Siachen to Sir Creek, and that these were probing potentially Indian air defense responses. Would that indicate to you that, based on the intelligence gathered, Pakistan might attempt something else?
Absolutely, Vishnu. I think we should be prepared for that. These are, drones that we've seen also in the Ukraine war. These are very low-cost options to test out what the efficacy of the air defense system is. Where is it that, you open up your radars, you give a signature of where your air defense systems are deployed. By the weapon system that you fire, you give an indication of what kind of air defense systems are in place. To me, this is a clear probing attempt in order to plan something more. Now, whether Pakistan wishes to escalate or not is a different matter. But the indications are clear that they're looking for areas, they're looking for places where possibly they could, use Pakistan Air Force to carry out some strike on Indian targets.
General Huda, internationally, Pakistan stands entirely isolated at this stage. There was an important visit by the Saudi foreign minister to India and to Pakistan. Do you believe that is critical in terms of perhaps advising or getting Pakistan to think again before escalating this?
It could well be, Vishnu, because we know Pakistan financially is in extremely dire straits. And of the few countries that have bailed them out in the past, of course, one is China. The others are Saudi Arabia and UAE, which are also looking to sort of invest more and more into Pakistan. And if Pakistan becomes unstable, if there is conflict, then these are countries that are going to pull out their investments from Pakistan. So it could well be that, they are going there and telling Pakistan escalation is completely not in your interest. I mean, logically, if we look at it, the conditions that exist in Pakistan today, any conflict with India, I would say would be completely ruinous for their economy. So if better sense prevails, it would be good. But Vishnu, leadership matters, and the kind of military leader that they have in Pakistan, I'm not sure whether they will heed advice and sane advice from others. So, as I said, I think we have to be prepared completely for this to escalate before it de-escalates.
General Huda, again, we just reporting this with abundant caution. There are several journalists now reporting that there is artillery shelling and possibly some airborne activity, by which I mean, firing in the air, possibly through tracers, because it's red in color. I've got the video on my screen in Jammu. We've got the Chief Minister Omar Abdullah, who just a little while back also stated that there is a blackout, obviously, and sirens which are sounding in across the city of Jammu at this stage. Based on the statement of the Chief Minister of sirens being heard, it does appear that we may be headed to something at this juncture. Assuming that this is correct, what are your thoughts?
No, as I said, Vishnu, yesterday was testing the waters as far as Pakistan is concerned, and they could well then do some activity today to further what they have planned. Vishnu, my own sense is, Pakistan Army will be under tremendous pressure. The fact that targets have been struck in the heartland of Punjab, there would be, questions being asked of the Pakistan military as to what you are going to do. And therefore, they will attempt something, I don't think very large, very big, maybe demonstrative. But they will attempt an activity that will show that, look, if India has struck us, in Punjab, we have the capacity and capability to also carry out something in Jammu and Kashmir or elsewhere in India.
Huda, there is a siren at this stage in Srinagar, which is also being heard. We've got, my colleague Shiv Arur over there. We've got journalists in Jammu as well, and Omar Abdullah, who's also in Jammu, I believe, saying that sirens are being heard over there. We've got, we've got some initial indicators of firing in the air, red tracer bullets. That's what it looks like to me. We will play that out in a little while from now. Just a few moments back, there's been an important meeting that's taken place of the Prime Minister, the Defence Minister, National Security Advisor, and the 3 service chiefs. I think this is that footage of that meeting taking place. They are obviously looking at what the situation is, how India is going to respond to all of this. As always, we are just going to be very careful in how we are reporting all of this. It's very early. The army or defense sources just a little while back telling us that, look, they are compiling the information. It's still very early at this stage. They're asking us to exercise restraint as details are being collected, but that's something that we will continue to do at this stage. But very cautiously reporting that, and this is factual, there have been sirens which have been heard in Jammu. There is a blackout in Jammu. There have been sirens which have been heard in Srinagar as well. These sirens are often heard when there is an air defense alert which takes place. General Huda, when we go up the escalation matrix from where we are now, what happens next?
Look, Vishnu, from my perspective, the ball is completely in Pakistan's court. We will react to what they do. I think the Foreign Secretary has very, very clearly stated that, we are not interested in escalation. We haven't hit any military targets. We have only hit terrorist headquarters and terrorist camps. And so right now the ball is completely in Pakistan's court as to whatever you do, the Indian military is going to respond in equal measure, if not more, to that. And I think that should impose some caution on what they plan to do and how they plan to do it. I think, Vishnu, we should plan for some action from the Pakistan military side. It would be wise and professional to plan for that. And knowing how the Pakistan military thinks, we should expect something that comes from their side. As I said, whether they do it in a demonstrative way, just to show that we have the capability to do something, or they wish to escalate and do something larger, is completely up to them now.
Okay.
And they, I think, need to think responsibly about what the next steps are.